Hi there, folks. Today, what we're gonna do is on another episode of Now You Know, we're going to change the differential fluid on the F53 2008 motorhome. So, how we're gonna approach this process is that we're going to remove the 10 bolts. As you can see, I've already removed 3, and what I've done is I took a piece of cardboard, and you can't really see from there, but I kind of laid out the diagram so I can put the bolts back where they belong. And then after I remove the bolt, tend to leave one bolt, especially the top one, so that it can hold on to the cover, and make sure you have some kind of catch, oil catch. I went ahead and I got a bigger one. And then to pry it out, what I did was I got a painter's scraper. So we're going to try to pry that out and then go from there. So given the circumstances, it's very tight under here. As you can see, I'm literally laying underneath another compartment. It's the fuel. It's either one of the it's a fuel tank, or it's one of the water tanks. So it's very tight in here. I'm going to try to do this in parts and then kind of show you the inside and kind of go from there. So I'm gonna stop this video and kind of cut it to the next one. Alright guys, so now that I've removed all 10 bolts, basically for mine, it uses a 14mm socket. This is, if you look under the blue oval trucks and you look for your axle, it'll tell you exactly what type of axle you have. So after you've done removing the differential fluid, you're going to want to add differential fluid that is specific to your truck into it if you're unsure. So as you can see on that side, there's my diagram. Missing is the top bolt, which I'm going to leave so that I can pry this open and let it kind of drain down into the pan here. And after that, we'll go from there. Take it out, clean it, make sure everything is okay. Okay folks, I managed to get the rear diff cover off at this point, letting it just drain. You can spray brake cleaner in to kind of clean it up a little. I'm going to cover this diff after it slowly stops to drain, and I'm going to start removing all the debris, as you can see, around the plate itself, and pretty much go from there. We're going to be using the gasket maker afterwards to put this all back, and I'm going to make sure everything is tight. Again, the oil, again, I use a catch can to collect the differential oil. Here's a view from both sides. It was very difficult to remove. The reason why is not a lot of space for me to work under. And 2, trying to get that painter's scraper wedged into it was very difficult. So I went ahead and I used a jack that we had, and I put it at the very edge of the differential cover, the thickest part, and I just cranked it slowly, and it just popped at that point. So thank God nothing was broken. That's the biggest thing. And 2, it wasn't a lot of pressure that I was pushing on it. I did try to wiggle it, really pry it out, but it was very difficult. So I'll show you the cover. So here I have is the cover. As you can see, I've pretty much started the cleaning process already. I'm going to be using sandpaper, and I'm going to start sanding the edges, and then using that I don't know what this is called. And I'm going to start removing some of the debris, and after that I'll show you how to put on the gasket maker and reinstall it. Okay. folks, here's the differential cleaned as the best as I could with this. I made sure all the gasket stuff was removed as much as I can, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start laying a gasket remover. I'm sorry, RTV gasket to this, and then we'll be planning on bolting this back to the diff itself. Okay, so now we're gonna make the gasket. So I'm using this Permatex Ultra Black maximum oil resistant gasket maker. So you can see from there it says degrees 65 to 500, and it's for heavy duty oil applications. So go ahead and we'll do that, and then we'll start mounting it back on. Go. I went ahead and I made a good solid bead running on the inside of the bolt holes. Now we're just gonna mount this back up carefully, and I normally start with the upper bolt to try to hold it in place, and then slowly start putting the rest of the bolts in. Okay folks, so this is the finished product. What I did was I beaded it, and I went ahead, stuck the upper bolt, which you can barely see from here, right about there. I used that as a guide, and once I got that on, I didn't let it touch yet, the two plates to touch. I went ahead and started to grab the other bolts and started screwing them in. And once I got them hand tight, not tightened, but like snug, I started snugging all the other bolts in. And after that point, I went ahead and started wrenching it, and I wrenched it until it was snug on all of them in a star pattern. So if I started with the top, I would eventually go down to the bottom, and then again to the opposite end, as I'm showing you through the video, so that it would come on evenly, as you can see. And then afterwards, I went ahead and I took my torque wrench and I torqued it to 45 foot-pounds. I believe that's what it calls for. I was looking online and I saw 45 for the foot-pounds for the differential. So how I did it was I did 20 foot-pounds first, and I did it in that star pattern, and then I increased it to increments of 10. So I got to 30, and again I did it in the star pattern, and then finally I went all the way up to 45 foot-pounds, and again in the star pattern. So my gasket sealer states that it takes about 24 hours to cure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait 24 hours and then go ahead and put my fluids in. But you can see there's the drain plug. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'll just go ahead and fill it up. And how do you know you have enough? Usually it's about a centimeter from the drain plug. So what you can use is a small little hex key, and it has that little bend, and you can stick it in there and see if it touches. Or what I've seen most people do is they fill it up until it actually drains out of that out of that fill plug. So again, either way I think is fine. So because when I checked it before, mine was about a centimeter below that fill plug. The reason why I went ahead and did the rear diff fluid replacement was my coach is 51,000 miles, and so when I was reading the manual, it said every 50,000 miles for just normal, and if you're towing you would do, I'm sorry, every 100,000 miles is if you're just driving normal. However, if you're towing, it says every 50,000 miles. So at that point, this vehicle, prior to me owning it, was towing a Toad, or a small little car behind it. And so when I first opened it, it smelled rotten. It doesn't smell like new fluid. I know I didn't record the fluid for you guys, but yeah, the fluid was really gross and nasty. Debris. There was some debris on the magnetic plug. It's usually at this fill plug right here. So I went ahead and I cleaned that out too, and I sprayed brake cleaner inside to get whatever other debris that was there. But other than that, I hope this video helps any others who are attempting to do this. Again, I'm learning as I go, or I do have some sort of mechanical skills, so it kind of helps. But other than that, folks, I'll put everything that is needed on the bottom of the page, and again, feel free to make comments, suggestions, anything like that, and you know, go from there. And once again, another episode of Now You Know. Hope you folks have a great day. Take care. Bye.